This video is brought to you by FlexiSpot. FlexiSpot is a company that sells standing desks and adjustable chairs. Now I know what you're thinking, standing desks, video games, something's not adding up here. And I gotta admit guys, I was kind of in the same frame of thinking until I tried this FlexiSpot E7 desk. You see, I have a really bad habit of slipping into this thing when I'm gaming for a long period of time called Goblin Mode, or at least that's what I call it. Goblin Mode is when your posture gets progressively worse as your gaming session is going on until you straight up look like the dad from Coraline. With a regular desk, since the height is fixed, there's nothing really too much you can do about it except regulate your own body, like, oh, I gotta check in with myself, make sure my posture's alright. But with a height adjustable desk like the E7 right here, it's much easier to find what is good for your personal posture. With a standing FlexiSpot desk, whenever I feel like I'm going into Goblin Mode, I can easily change into another position and fine adjust the height to get into a comfortable height again. On top of that, these FlexiSpot desks have really awesome stability. The E7 right here can support up to 355 pounds. That's a lot of gaming stuff. So even if you load up your monitor, consoles, keyboard, RGB lights, whatever, everything will remain locked in as you move it up and down. The E7 desk comes with a variety of customization options. You can pick a C-frame if you want more under the desk storage, and you can even pick the desktop material and color. So if you're like me, a gamer who just turned 30, your body's starting to do things that it didn't used to do, creak in places that didn't used to creak, your back's starting to hurt a little bit the longer you game, you can use this link, or it's going to be down in the description as well, to save $30 off on any order over $500. Big shout out to FlexiSpot once again for sponsoring this video. Microsoft leaked its own secrets. The Series S is here to stay, and this game is finally coming to Xbox consoles. Let's discuss. What's up guys, and welcome back to the new and improved weekend edition of Xbox Ready, the one where I team up with Mr. Jimmy Champagne here to talk about the latest and greatest news going on in the world of Xbox. We moved full virtual for this, so we used to be side by side in person, but our hearts are still connected, and so we are still dedicated to talk about video games with you guys, I guess. But yeah, crazy week in the world of Xbox. I was actually talking to one of me and Jimmy's friends who works for Xbox, and he was like, yeah, this is pretty freaking nuts. So yeah, if you haven't been keeping up with the news cycle for Xbox lately, there was a massive leak of this document that they submitted as part of this FTC investigation for Activision Blizzard, and it was like a presentation of their roadmap going to 2030. And in this presentation, this little roadmap, there was plans for an all-digital Series X, a new wireless controller with haptics and swappable thumbsticks and all sorts of other stuff, kind of revamped Series S that had the same tech as digital Series X. There were leaks for Phil Spencer saying like, oh, I really want to buy Nintendo. Dang it, I really want to buy Nintendo. And then there was like all like Bethesda leaks like for stuff that they're working on, including like Dishonored 3 and remakes for Oblivion and freaking Fallout 3. Like it was a crazy leak that apparently was all their fault. Is what the court is saying now as of this morning. They're saying that last week they said that the FTC and Microsoft had to submit secure links like featuring these documents and stuff for the investigation. Right. And the thing that Microsoft uploaded was like not redacted and not secure, I guess. So they're basically, the courts are like shifting blame onto Microsoft. It's saying it's their fault that these Xbox leaks happened.
I think it's probably the court's fault, realistically. Like, Xbox is probably pretty on top of that, but I don't know. There's just so much crazy stuff going on. Right. And then I saw another video today where there's even more stuff in the Bethesda document because Special Nick and another leaker a little while ago talked about a whole list of games in order that Bethesda was working on, and all the games on that list were in order on this leaked list. So in the other list, the one that leaked a while ago, there was also a Mandalorian MMO from the ZeniMax Online people. So that's, if all of these are accurate, I'm assuming that one's coming out relatively soon as well, which I'm really excited about that. As far as MMOs go, like Elder Scrolls Online is one of the best. It's the only one that has like active action combat that I've played, and I think it's really good. So if anyone's gonna do a cool Mandalorian style MMO, I think it's them, because they have the coolest combat in the MMO genre for me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And like, I haven't dove into the Bethesda stuff specifically. I'm happy to see a remaster of Oblivion, even though like those Sky Oblivion dudes who've been working on it forever
it's just a
still isn't
remaster.
it?
Yeah, I was excited when I read it at first as remake, and the same with Fallout 3. But though, like, you already have a remaster of Fallout 3 on the Xbox. Like it's in 4K and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
they gave like the
up.
update. Yeah, for they made it like the next gen update. But new
if
Doom,
they rebuilt it in Fallout 4's engine, that'd be cool. That'd be sweet.
That would be cool. New Doom.
New Doom, I'm excited for. Very excited. That was supposed to be out like relatively recently, and so I'm assuming that it'll get revealed probably at the Game Awards. And yeah, new Dishonored. That's kind of surprising because Dishonored 1 like just barely met sales like what they wanted it to sell, and then Dishonored 2 did not because of like a variety of factors. So they said they were going to put it on ice for a while, and then they made Prey, then they made what's it called, Deathloop, and then they made Redfall, and now they're going back to the old Dishonored well. So I'm excited about that. That's like, an awesome game.
They're like, let's go back to what made us famous.
Yeah, Dishonored 1 is so good.
And since these leaks have come out, Phil Spencer has responded to them like via an email. Like, this dude's emails are just like out for everyone to read, like the good and the bad. Basically, he was saying like, this sucks because like blah blah blah. We do a ton of work to keep this under wraps and secret, and we do a lot of good work.
Yeah,
on
like
the team.
obviously.
And then, but the interesting part of his response was the very end of what he posted on Twitter. Was he was like, we'll reveal the real plans when we're ready, and we're excited to reveal the real plans. Now it's kind of our job, I guess, to speculate what is real and what is not real, like of this leak that has come about. If you go and look through the kind of roadmap, there's like a pyramid section that's like, these are the projects that are funded and these are the projects that are not. And the projects that are not are like, it was a media remote, earbuds, handheld is on there as well. And I think it said like a mobile controller, whatever that means. So like those projects probably off the board entirely. So Xbox handheld, probably have to give that up for a little bit.
That's fine. I'm assuming that the handheld was probably going to be like the G Cloud or the PlayStation Portal. And if that's the case, I don't care. I don't think Microsoft right now would be making a handheld PC because they don't have the handheld version of Windows ready yet. But once that comes out, I'm like, okay, then they should start making a Windows handheld.
Yeah, because under the projects that were funded, even though they were funded, doesn't mean they're gonna come out, because Keystone was on that, the all streaming console that they were working on that they canceled. So it kind of begs the question, like, what is going to come out of these leaks?
So this slideshow was theoretically being like presented to Phil, I guess, and like Satya and all them. So the one thing I really hope is that since they've like done this presentation, that one of the real plans that he's talking about is either a detachable disk drive like what we're going to see on the PS5 Slim, or they added a disk drive, because that's not good having an all digital console. Yeah, especially if it's $500.
But they did say earlier, like in the slideshow, that the Series X, the disc one, was going to be, the language that they used was kind of weird, but it said like they will do it until it's discontinued. Right, and I don't know like what that means, like they're gonna go to the end of the line of it. But not a lot of people were happy about the digital Series X, like when I was kind of looking through reactions and stuff on Twitter and things. And especially I posted something on Instagram and people were like, all digital? No thanks, I ain't freaking buying.
Obviously they want to push people towards Game Pass and stuff, but something I realized through this is that Ghostwire Tokyo never got a physical release on Xbox. It's only digital.
Oh, Ghostwire Tokyo 2 apparently gonna come as part of these leaks too, or a sequel. Anyway, keep going.
I hope that happens. I feel like this list was made before Ghostwire Tokyo came out. I feel like they just had like higher expectations for it, and then when it came out, obviously on PlayStation, it didn't sell all that well. But then I saw a tweet from their official account that said 6 million people have played it. I'm assuming probably like 4 million of those people were Game Pass subscribers, but that's good because that's a game where you could fund it on a smaller budget and put it on Game Pass and people would probably try it out. I thought it was good, and then the update made it great.
I only played the updated version, so I was like, this is pretty good. I don't know why people were like, and I was like, oh, all the things I liked were added in the update.
Like the rapid fire pointing and stuff. And like,
yeah.
they added in some scarier parts, like I think they improved the school and stuff. But yeah,
The whole
that
middle
middle school level
awesome.
is awesome.
The best.
So good.
So yeah, like what is real and what is not real is going to be the major question regarding these leaks going forward. I guess we won't know until 2024 because
I hope the design of that controller wasn't real because it looks like ass. I don't like this glossy plastic.
What?
And
It looked like an Elite Series core.
It weirds me out having just the handles be black. Like I don't like the horizontal.
You don't like the
two-tone.
Panda like black and white? You think it's an L?
I think they need more black buttons, like the triggers maybe, or like the buttons to be black, but just having the handles be like rubberized. I don't know. All of that looked like fake mock-ups. Like even the Series X circular model, I was like, it's probably not going to look like that.
I hope that the controller is real. And I would, like, out of all of this, if I were to pick one thing, real. I would personally hope that we see this wireless controller they were talking about in the slide deck in 2024. The consoles I can give or take because, I mean, if it's going to be a Series X just with improved Wi-Fi, I game on an Ethernet cable anyway. I guess the 2 terabytes storage is nice. I'm not like springing at it like, oh, I gotta have this. Other than like, it looks cool. I think it looks cool. I think it looks cool. They were kind of talking about an Elite Series 3 in these documents too, but they were a little bit more vague on that. But to be clear, the wireless controller Sebel is different than the Elite Series 3. So just to clear that up.
It's like the premium controller.
Yeah, it's like
what they're calling it.
I think it definitely, the Xbox controller was due for an update, and I think all the things they were talking about in this slide deck really make it feel like a next-gen controller.
I have to point out, I re-downloaded Resident Evil 4 because the DLC comes out today when we're recording this. I played that whole game with a DualSense, and I only had my Starfield Xbox controller next to my PC, and I was like just waiting for these workers to leave and stuff. So I was like, oh, I'll just run around to Mercenaries real quick. There is a massive dead zone, and it's impossible to aim on a DualSense, but on the Xbox controller, I'm like pinpoint accurate. So I kind of screwed myself by playing that game with the DualSense. So I will be playing separate ways tonight with an Xbox controller.
You're playing like on handicap. Like you're going to be so good when you switch over to the Xbox controller.
Yeah, it's like the dead zone is so big that you have like, you're like far out on the stick when he starts doing the slow move. So it like ramps up and it's like hard to aim, which in that game already, like until you get some upgraded weapons, it's a little tough to aim. But yeah, the Xbox controller aiming is just a lot better, and I googled it, and yeah, it's just like a constant problem with the DualSense in a lot of games, like especially shooters. There's a dead zone, and I hate it.
This is like months worth of news, like all coming out in the span of like 2 days. So definitely, like if we're not covering exactly what you want to talk about in those leaks, like definitely check back in for a future video. And
let Ray know and subscribe to his channel, of course.
Yeah. We also learned some interesting things about the Xbox Series S, specifically their sales in comparison to the Xbox Series X. According to this kind of more redacted document than the other freaking 2030 roadmap that came out, apparently in April 2022, Microsoft forecasted Xbox hardware, the sales split to be between 64.9% Series S and 35.1% Series X. Instead, what ended up happening was that there was about 74.8% Series S sales and 25% Series X. Like that is a massive skew in favor of the Series S for the month of April for them.
Yeah, I saw IGN wrote an article about it, and they updated it where there was some caveat where it actually ended up being like 50-50 in the end. It was just like up until that point. And that makes more sense to me because the biggest reason I would think the Series S would be the one that sold more is, outside of it being cheaper, obviously, is that the Series X just wasn't available for so long, and now it is. And now Series X's are selling really well because of Starfield.
And do you think that, I mean, people were buying the Series S as a placeholder until they could get an X and then trade in, and like, do the cost towards that.
Yeah, or the other thing is if maybe they bought a PS5 and they like third-party stuff, you know, or first-party Xbox stuff that was ending up on Game Pass. They were like, well, I can just double dip for this cheaper $300 console, especially when it was like as low as $250 last year.
Yeah,
that's kind of like a no-brainer purchase just to check out games like the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, Pentiment, Grounded, you know, all the like Sea of Thieves, like all these Xbox-only games that aren't on PlayStation.
And it's kind of interesting because it, like, a bottom line, no matter what the actual percentages are, 75 to 25, 50-50, the Series S continues to sell well, even though it's constantly under fire by seemingly everyone in the community and like sometimes developers. It's kind of impressive, I would say.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense because it's like the perfect entry point to next gen gaming, and it is more powerful than the One X. My argument is devs should just optimize their games better because every single release this year has just been a disaster pretty much. Like Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor, for example, that game, they updated it. It runs best on Xbox now. Like it's a perfectly locked 60 on Xbox pretty much across the board. PS5 has some pretty major frame dips when you're traversing between areas, and on PC they made it worse. So that's good. But yeah, I don't know. I think the Series X is a cool console. I think that black version of it was a smart move, and I think that's going to sell quite well.
It looks clean, first of all, and apparently over in the UK, since Starfield launched, the next 2 weeks after that, there was like a 70-something% increase in hardware sales. And the Black Series S, apparently for one of those weeks, accounted for like almost 24%. So it seems to be like
that's
people
gotta be an
are
availability thing though too. Yeah, like the Series X I've seen sold out everywhere. Like I was at Target last week buying like some just Halloween stuff for my lawn, and it was the only time I've ever been in a Target and seen available PlayStation 5s like on the shelf and no Series X's or S's there. I was like, this is kind of crazy.
Yeah. The Series X's are selling well thanks to Starfield. The Series S continues to sell. It kind of makes you think like Xbox next generation, they're probably going to do the same thing, right? 2 Xboxes, even though a lot of people are like, no, please just do one. And I'm sure developers would really like to develop just for one Xbox. But yeah, it seems like the way this is working out, Xbox is like, okay, this is the move. This is the move from now on. 2 boxes, not just one.
I mean, those developers will quiet down a lot by next generation if this release strategy that Microsoft has where they're putting out a game every quarter, like if that pays off and we keep seeing huge bumps in console sales and game sales and Game Pass subs like we did with Starfield recently, the developers are going to not really care anymore, because right now they're like, well, I'm putting in all this work to make it run on the Series S, and the Xbox has such a low market share of the industry as a whole. But if it evens out and it becomes more close to like 30% Xbox, 30% PlayStation, then I think like that would be 40% Nintendo. Then developers will be like, okay, because they don't complain about the Switch, you know, like they
Mortal
port everything
Kombat 1
to
on the Switch. This is crazy.
They poured all this crap to the Switch.
So there's like some things that may not be real, some things that may come to fruition. One of their goals in the beginning of the slideshow was getting 100 million subscribers by 2030. So
what are they at now? Like 30?
They're at 30 before the conversion of Game Pass Core. So I don't know if they're going to count that within it, but we'll see. But to your point, if it gets to 100 million subs on Game Pass, if they have those kinds of numbers, they have that engagement. Yeah, I feel like developers are going to be singing a new tune. If they add Call of Duty to freaking Game Pass, like that's going to be massive, and that'll give them at least like 10 million subs. Yeah, at least.
That's like perfect for me.
Yeah, playing the new Call of Duty on your Game Pass subscription versus like buying a new one every year. Absolutely, 100%. You may not have realized that Tokyo Game Show happened as well.
I know, I used to stay up super late to watch it.
Yeah, and there are some pretty interesting announcements to come out of Tokyo Game Show. The
Octopath Traveler 2,
Octopath Traveler 2, baby, it's finally coming. Was it like a year ago at this point? I can't remember, but me and Jimmy had lunch with Phil Spencer. And there were some like other Xbox PR people there. It was like me, Jimmy, Kevin Kenton was there, Gerard the completionist was there, like a bunch of other creators and stuff. And one of the things that I remember Phil saying was that, damn, that actually pissed me off. Like Octopath Traveler not coming to Xbox, like that actually like got me riled up and pissed me off. I was like, whoa, and we got him talking about it a little bit because he was like, just doesn't make sense. Like the first one was on Xbox, it was like Game Pass did really well for us.
On PlayStation yet. It might be now, but like
I think
it wasn't
now.
at the time.
And so it was like
the first one? Yeah.
He was like, that actually hurt. kind of thing. Octopath Traveler 2 finally making its way over to Xbox consoles.
Also, Persona 3 Remake, I think, is coming out in January. They announced that. That's cool.
Yes, sir. And yeah, we got new trailers for P3. Is it Reloaded or Remake? P3 Reloaded.
I think Reloaded.
Persona 5
That's
Tactica.
my favorite Persona.
So we got new trailers for that. Both of those are going to be coming to Game Pass as well, like Persona 5 came to Game Pass. There's like a pretty big update for Fallout 76. I wanted to talk to you about that because you claim to have played every single thing in Fallout 76, like done everything there is to do.
I think I have like 700 hours in that game. Yeah, it's Atlantic City, and at first I thought it was going to be one of these expeditions, which are really irritating. It's like the pit. You had to do like 10 daily challenges to get the like ticket to have the vertibird fly you there, and then it was just like a dungeon where you had one objective, like kill everything or whatever, and then you had to extract. It looks like this is an actual expansion. It's coming out in December. I think December 5th is what they said. They're splitting it into 2 parts, and you can play on the public test server in October. So I'm excited. I'll play that. I'll jump back in. I have like a totally over leveled character, like well over a level 100, I'm pretty sure. So if I can just jump back in and go to this new area, that's cool. They're really channeling New Vegas with it. There's like a new casino and everything like that, and just having Atlantic City at all is like a cool location for a Fallout game.
The last exciting thing I will say is Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, confirmed for Game Pass when it comes out. I'm like, okay, you're gonna laugh at this. DLC for Wolong Fallen Dynasty.
Who is Wolong?
Dude, Wolong is not in the game. It's not in the game.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was like literally walking home from the gym, and I just like started laughing because I was like, who is Wolong? Because I've been playing Lies of P. I was like, what the hell?
I liked Wolong Fallen Dynasty. I got a review copy back when it came out, and I burned through it. I actually beat it by the time like the embargo was up, so I got to like give like a full kind of experience. Not often do you get that in a game, but
dude, Lies of P is so good.
You're rocking with Lies of P?
I'm telling you, Lies of P, excluding Resident Evil 4, Lies of P is my favorite thing I've played this year. I'm like addicted to it. It is so good.
I gotta jump in on that. I've been playing Mortal Kombat with my new little arcade
I gotta play
stick.
that.
To end this video, because a lot of people were saying a bunch of stuff about like these Xbox leaks and Phil Spencer, like, and Xbox potentially acquiring Nintendo and all that. Like, what is like your key takeaway from all of this that's been coming out?
That these marketing people who made this slideshow are crazy, calling it like adorably all digital. It's like, shut up. No one wants that, and you know it. Like, that's just so lame and corny. I keep looking at this like camo Xbox behind you. Is that a new cover?
That's a new cover that they sent me. Yeah.
That looks really good.
Yeah, like it's growing on me, honestly.
Yeah.
They sent me the blue one and the white one. And I'm like, cool. It's kind of growing on me. It's like, it's kind of nice. I don't know. But yeah, if you want to pre-order the Xbox console wrap that you see behind me, we'll have links for that. Well,
that was a good episode.
Pretty busy week in the world of Xbox, and that's really cool because we're going into like the busiest time for just the video game industry in general. It's looking like we're gonna have a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss on the channel going forward. So again, if you want to keep up to date on all the latest Xbox news, need someone to help you make sense of all this crazy stuff that's been coming out about Xbox's digital consoles, not digital consoles, controllers that Jimmy hates, things like that. We got you. So subscribe and check back in.
I just don't like the smooth plastic. It's like, it's weird. I don't know. I think they could do better with it.
They could have, but we'll see. Maybe they'll
give
change
it like a 7.
I don't know. We'll see in 2024.